I don't know how to, I have to shut off my phones because these are all the, I don't want to think is that I'm still trying to rescue information, but do you know how to shut off an Android?
I don't.
Okay, let me see if I hold the button down. Okay.
Because I only have an iPhone, so I'm not
I know,
quite sure
I always
how.
did too. So let's see. Oh, there we go.
That's the thing, yeah, most of them are intuitive, but it's a little different. Okay, so I have the report. They mentioned 4 different recordings that they have on discs, and so the officer is going to bring those. Their evidence officer comes usually around, I don't know, between 9 and 10, usually when we have court. So he'll bring those when he comes. The prosecutor called him and asked if he could bring those. There's a recording of, let's see, the security camera from the actual place, the dealership. They have a audio recording from the Chagrin Falls Police Department that they had sent, that the Chagrin Falls Police Department sent to Willoughby Hills, that they said that you admitted to taking the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a video from the Willoughby Hills Police Department. Where was it? From, I think, one from the lobby and one from the room where they had you held in with the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, they said that they're putting those all on disc, so they're going to bring them so we can review those. And then this, I mean, the report's pretty long. There's, where does it start? There we go. So there's some, like, statements that people made. That's just a charge. And then, where was it? There we go. They have one part from the incident at Lexus. Then they have part of it that talks about you going to the police department.
Which time?
The first time. And then they have
What
part
was
of
the
it.
date of it?
So they have, okay, so it starts on the 17th.
So I went to the police on the 16th.
This is saying it's the 17th.
I know.
And then, let's see. Oh, no, so this is when they called, sorry. This is when Lexus called the police department, and the police department talked to them.
So that was after I
So
went
that
to
was
the police.
after you went there, yeah.
Mhm.
So then they had something about you going there in the first place. Sorry, there's like 4 different dates in here.
Well, I want to tell you what, or I'll let you finish, or you let me know.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, I am not denying that I took things off of his desk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. However, those things were items that belonged to me, and I was, you know, there is a, you know, I was doing some reading and trying to understand what criminal court is and the proceedings and whatnot. And I believe that these allegations are based on a mistake of fact, okay? Because yes, I took these items, but these items, I believe, were my property. Now, not just my property, but my personal protected property that I had felt. When we watch the video, we'll see me recording myself doing it. So why would I, with my 0 criminal record, want to incriminate myself, videotape myself taking things if I was thinking I was stealing, okay? I was taking these things because I felt like I needed to defend myself, and that's why I went directly to the police. And yes, it's interesting that there is no report in there that I was there the night before.
There is.
That, okay, and that I brought the
right.
stuff.
They said that You came to the police department, admitted to stealing the paperwork and keys. She would not return the items taken and became argumentative with Officer Bepley. Goldschmidt left the department with no further action taken. So they said that you came into the dealership looking for the keys. They said, okay, so I don't know where that report is. I could have sworn I saw it. But yeah, basically they said that you came in, admitted to taking the stuff. They asked if you were going to give it to them, and you said no, and then you left.
No, I told them I would give it to them, and I have that recorded.
Okay. Would you be able to send that to me?
Yes,
Okay.
and on my way out, it's like an hour and a half or an hour and 45-minute recording.
Okay.
But I was telling them, I said, do you want me to give this to you? And he said, no, I'm good.
Okay. Well, send that to me. That's going to be helpful.
Okay. And I had no, intention of finding my vulnerable stuff that should have been.
I know, but as I said before, even if they promised you 100 times, I mean, if they had someone's diamond ring, and they put that diamond ring, and they were fixing it,
mm-hmm.
and they had the right of that diamond ring to have it at that moment, and the door was left wide open, and someone walks by, and they hadn't paid for it to be fixed yet, because that's the issue, is who had the right to possess it at that time.
But they didn't have permission.
Hold on.
They didn't have.
Hold on. I'm not talking about permission. I'm talking about who had the right of ownership at that time. It's a very specific legal distinction. Whether or not there's permission to do work, that is going to factor into it, but that's not the only thing. And so if they had the right to possess it at that time, even if, it was yours at some point, if someone goes in and takes it, it's $1 million ring, sitting on a table, door wide open. Civil liability, yeah, that's an issue for them. They may have to pay for something. But the person that took it is still criminally liable.
But if they have the right to possess it or have ownership of it, if
Right.
I give them that right. Like if I gave them.
That's what we need to look into. I'm not saying it's one way or the other, but it's different whether if you owned that vehicle outright or if you're leasing that vehicle. And so I just need to look into that and see whether or not they had ownership of it and why they had the vehicle in the first place.
Okay,
None of
no,
that is
so
in here.
Ashley, wait, let me tell you.
It's Ashlyn.
Ashlyn, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so the vehicle is registered to me, okay?
Okay.
The registered, and I have an obligation to, either way. I also, so there's no question, I'm saying that there's a mistake of fact right here, that the vehicle is my property and the paperwork has my personal protected property.
I know, but we've gone
Please
through
let
that.
me finish. I know I keep repeating myself because I get really nervous I'm going to be interrupted because I'm really trying to make an important point, okay?
All right. Make your point, but you
Okay.
keep making the same point and we keep going over it.
And I agree. I do, because I'm not getting to my point because I keep getting
Okay.
interrupted.
All right.
Okay. In a self-defense plea, which is what I'd like to make, based on a mistake of fact, this is it. I want to make a plea on a self-defense based on a mistake of fact. That's okay. Just let me finish. Okay. Mistake of fact is that the property belonged to me. It had all my husband's personal information, where David was constantly contacting. They should not have been in communication. Okay, he should not be. I have Amika, I have everyone else, Apple, who are trying to establish my protection.
I'm not denying that information was about you and your life. What's the point you're trying to make about it?
Well, this is another attempt to use the legal system and the police to assault me. I was defending myself, and I was set up. I was basically, and most importantly, I did not give permission to work on my vehicle. And it is explicitly known in, I told him several times, I have the recordings too, what wasn't tampered with, that I said, I made a police report on the 27th. I said, do not touch the vehicle. I can't have any repairs done because that would interfere with the investigation. Do not touch the vehicle. And then, what was he doing with my keys and my paperwork out when he did not have authorization to touch my vehicle? My vehicle, I was, first of all, peculiar that it was towed into that dealership, okay? So why were my brakes failing? And what preempted that occurring is also the intentions with David, where all my other records.
I know we've gotten into all that stuff, but none of that stuff matters for this case. Again, even if that paper literally just had your name and your social security number on it, or if it had a picture of you on it, regardless of what is on the piece of paper, that piece of paper does not belong to you, it belongs to the dealership. I understand that they shouldn't have it out, but that's a civil issue.
It's my property.
It's not your property.
It is my property.
It is their piece of paper.
It doesn't matter if it's a piece of paper or if it's.
It is this. All of this stuff in this file is my property. It's not yours, even though it's all about you.
It is my personal protected information.
Information is not the physical
That's
piece
property.
of paper.
That is
no.
That's
physical
privacy
property
and security of my property that they didn't have the right to have.
Lauren, okay. I stopped when you wanted to finish your stuff, but let me finish.
Okay.
This whole file is your information. It has your birth date, it has your, I don't think it has your social security number, it has your address, it has your weight, it has your height, it has your hair color, it has all this information about you. But this is mine, this is not yours.
Right.
So if you went in and took this off my desk, you'd be stealing from me.
Right, I agree.
So how is that different from this situation?
Because of I did not go in there with the intention to take it.
Okay, but I'm not talking about intent right now. I'm talking about whether or not I'm
is.
talking about possession right now. We're talking about possession.
But I brought it to the
I know,
police.
intent is a later issue. We'll talk about the intent later, but right now, the issue is possession. I mean ownership, sorry. Right now, I own this. Even though it's all about you, if you came in and took this, it'd still be mine. It's not yours.
I agree.
So what is the difference between owning this piece of paper, me owning this paper, and them owning that paper?
Because I don't feel threatened by you sharing that information.
But whether or not you feel threatened, it doesn't change who owns the paper.
It was self-defense.
There's no such thing as self-defense in a theft case.
You want to see? What if we were struggling, there was a gun, okay? It was my gun, okay? And you took the gun from me. Was that theft of my gun because you didn't want to get harmed?
That's self-defense of a physical action.
Right.
That's a different.
There is self-defense in criminal court for property.
All right.
There is. I just.
Okay. Again, we're gonna deal with this once we have all the videos, and if you could send me all those recordings, then we can get into it. But
Can I show you? I don't want to insult you. I don't want to be without an attorney, and I understand that it sounds like.
But you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Okay,
you have this
listening.
idea of what you want the law to be, and
no,
if I don't agree
I
with
have
it,
the law. I have the law.
Okay, did you go to law school?
I didn't. I went to
Okay.
dental school.
Okay, but that is what I have studied. That is what I practice. I'm telling you that that is not a defense, and you can't plead to self-defense. It's a guilty or not guilty plea. There is a no contest plea, but that's saying that you are not disputing any of the facts that they're alleging.
Okay.
So it's essentially a guilty plea.
Okay.
So it's either you have a trial and you try to use self-defense as a defense, which again is not going to be, it's not going to work here. I can tell you right now, guaranteed.
Okay. Well, I know that you are way, more an expert on the law than I am, and out of self-defense, I have been trying to read and gain understanding of, the overall Constitution and what made me, why would I be videotaping myself stealing if I thought that I was going to be, why would I go to 2 different police departments and admit that I took things if I truly believed that I was, out for some malicious act and not trying to protect myself. So, I don't know, let me see if I can find the papers, but I read that there is self-defense of property, and I explicitly gave instructions to not touch my vehicle, and there is a police report with an ongoing investigation, and he was touching my vehicle because not at any of the prior services when he should have done the airbag recall, suddenly, there was the airbag recall, so weirdly done at that time, and I don't know what, but he was very, very fixated on the fact that he needed my key and there's a lot going on in history with the collection of keys. Okay, so this is the registration showing that I'm the responsible party. The fact is that this car belongs to me right now. I have the first right of refusal to buy out the lease, okay, to own the car. I did not give any rights.
I'm not disputing that
Okay.
you have the registration for the car.
Okay, and that registration paper, my current registration, which I'm anal about keeping, because you could see I'm pretty anal about, these are all the documents, my 2006 and whatnot. I even had the Orange Police Department help me put my sticker on the car, and the registration, when I went into my car and got my purse, was missing. So I had to go and get another one. So I'm telling you that there's like some shady stuff going on here, and it's the pattern that you're tired of hearing about because you're saying it's irrelevant, but it's important because it is the pattern.
I understand it's important. It's just it's not going to. A lot of these things aren't going to impact our case.
Well, I am defending myself for theft. I'm not arguing that on the video I took things off of his desk. I went to the police and told them this. I went to another set of police and told them this. The purpose for doing it was not to deprive him of his property. It was to protect myself, okay? I had no intention of even finding it there. I just went to get my purse.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, so I'm constantly under attack and my car brakes just failed, so somehow I lived. But, okay, this is what I found on Wikipedia, which I know we all laugh at, even as dentists, when our patients go to Wikipedia and we're like, we're the ones who went to dental school, you're the one who went to law school. And I recognize that and I do respect that, but I didn't. And so I have to get information because I'm not gonna be able to pick your brain all day long. So what I have learned about mistake of law, or a mistake of fact, mistake of fact, and there's a big difference, is that when a person has committed the physical element of an offense, theft, looking like I took somebody else's property, because they were laboring under a mistake of fact, they never formed the mens rea escape, and so will escape liability for offense that requires mens rea. This is unlike a mistake of law, which is not usually a defense. Law enforcement may or may not take for granted that individuals know what the law is. The police would not let me get an attorney, and if you look at the dates, when
would they not let you get an attorney?
The entire time.
Entire time of what?
From the date that the complaint, it says complaint and summons, okay?
Right.
There was a complaint, there was no summons, and there was a warrant all at the same time, same date, okay? So I was never afforded an opportunity to A, know, B, seek an attorney, and when I came in to report that my car was missing, that police officer recklessly lied to me and said, your car is not missing, and went ahead and grabbed me brutally and dragged me to the back. That's all recorded too. And they were telling me they didn't have to be rough with me, but I just have to give them my fingerprints. And then when I agreed to comply with everything they wanted me to do, one other officer came in and said to me, and you should listen to this recording, he said, you can go home and come back tomorrow and talk to the court. All you have to do is sign this.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you because, I mean, it's already, so the point of court is just to get the cases into the courtroom, figure out what we're doing, move on to the next one. They set me for 7 pre-trials at 8 o'clock. So I'm,
Here,
we'll have to set an
property,
appointment.
take that. Just see what your idiot dentist has to seek for information, okay?
Okay.
And here,
So,
mistake of fact. Take that one too. Do I give you 2 copies or? All right. Here, take this, that I own the freaking registration. You want the police, well, you have enough knowing that, but that this car is under investigation for, and I have a right of self-defense, even if it's for property.
that's to defend your property. Okay,
Right.
I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not.
Right.
But this is the continuance form. How long do we want to set it out?
I want a pardon. I want,
Okay, that's not gonna happen.
well,
So our options are to set it for
I am
trial.
begging you, Ashlyn, if you could just just.
I understand what you're talking. I understand what
This
you're saying.
is an ongoing This
I
is
know.
an ongoing
Lauren, listen to me.
brutality
I know what you're
and
saying.
intimidation and beating up. This is a
Lauren.
great distraction. I can't help my children. This is a huge
Lauren,
another roadblock.
I am telling you, this is the way that the court works. Either we set it out for a continuance so we can come back with the recordings, with all of the stuff that we need so I can explain to the prosecutor why he should dismiss it. Again, he's not going to, but at least then we'll have something to argue with him. Or we can set it for a trial now. I don't want to set it for trial now because I don't think we have all the information yet, and I'm afraid they're going to set it quickly. And I want more time to dig into all this stuff because clearly, I mean, you've got all these papers, you have 4 phones worth of videos. I want to make sure we get through everything.
Okay,
So it's
well,
going
my
to take a
phones and
while.
my videos have been compromised.
Okay, but you said you still have some.
I still have, but that in and of itself is part of the fact here that I don't know if I'm gonna make it, and I need this to be. I can't get a job. I lost my job because of this criminal allegation. I humbly pray and ask of you to just ask, even if it's never been done before, ever, and so unusual, so bizarrely unusual. If you would just talk to the prosecutor on behalf of me as my agent, please.
I have already talked to the prosecutor about the case.
Okay.
He wants you to go to mental health court.
Who's the prosecutor?
Todd Cipolla.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. That would entail you pleading to all the charges and then getting sent over mental health court, which is a 2-year court. You go through an assessment, you go through treatment. As long as you're complying with everything, at the end of 2 years, it gets dismissed.
And you don't see how this is part of domestic violence?
No. So at this point, we can either ask for continuance or set it for trial.
So there's reality or there's law?
No.
Yes.
I'm not gonna do it. This is exhausting. I have to get to the next client.
Can you, even if it's weird, can you just please bravely ask him?
Lauren,
I want a plea of self-defense and
there is no
mistake of
such
fact.
thing as a plea of self-defense. It's a plea of guilty or a plea of not guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Those are pleas.
Okay.
Self-defense, mistake of fact, those are defenses that you would bring up at trial. They are not things that you can plead to.
So there's no talking to the judge?
No, not until we are either doing a change of plea, pleading guilty, or having a trial. We don't talk to the judge outside of those 2 situations.
So you come here for pre-trial not to talk to the judge?
No, it's to talk to the prosecutor to see if there's a resolution that can be made with the prosecutor to resolve the case in either a guilty plea or setting it for trial.
Why does it have on the docket the judge and?
It says pre-trial.
Okay. So there's no right to talk to a judge or be heard?
Not unless you have a specific motion to be heard on.
I do.
What is your specific motion to be heard on?
I want to file a motion that there is a mistake of fact.
That's not a motion. That's a legal defense that you would bring up at trial.
But you can make a motion about anything.
You can't make a motion about anything.
Sure.
Lauren, I can't. I don't understand why you're just ignoring everything I'm saying.
I'm not.
You are. I'm telling you that's
because
not
I
a thing.
understand domestic violence.
You're telling me that I'm wrong about the legal practice that I practice in this court weekly, daily.
I know.
There is no such thing as a plea of self-defense. It is a guilty plea or a not guilty plea. If you want to maintain your not guilty plea, because that's what you did at arraignment, then you set it for a trial and you use those things as a defense at trial.
Okay.
But there is no such thing as going in and telling the judge, I want you to dismiss this case because I was working in self-defense. It's not up to the judge unless we ask for a bench trial, in which case it's still a trial. And we were having a trial in front of the judge, and the prosecutor's bringing their evidence, we're bringing our evidence, asserting our defenses, and then the judge rules on it. Or we have a jury trial where they bring in 8 random strangers who hear all the evidence and they make the decision. So it's one or the other. There's no other options. You can go in front of the judge to ask if your license is suspended. You can ask for driving privileges. You can go in front of the judge to ask for Protection order. I mean, the victim can come in and ask for protection order against you. You can't ask for a protection order against other people because you're the defendant in the case. But there's things that you can go in and ask for to be heard on,
so
but
I
that's
can't
not
get
one of those
protection.
things.
So I basically,
not in this court. You have to go to the court of common pleas like we talked about yesterday.
Okay, so I understand the way the procedures and the way things go are your expertise, okay?
Oh, excuse me. Oh, hi.
Hi.
I'll just let you know when Juanita
Stanberry? Okay.
I got her. She's done.
Okay,
Do you have
thank
her
you.
file?
Yes.
Is it in there?
Yes, thank you.
So, can I speak to the prosecutor?
For what? I mean, that's not, the whole point of having legal representation is so that you have someone to talk to the prosecutor for you. I mean, he can talk to you if you ask for it and he agrees to, he doesn't have to. So I can ask him to talk to you if he wants to, but I don't think that's a good idea right now.
Why?
Because anything you talk about with him, that if you self-incriminate, if you do anything, I mean, that's all stuff he can use at trial if this goes to trial.
Okay, I'm not denying that what they have on the video is me taking.
Okay, but my whole purpose is to represent you, is to try to represent you in this entire process. I'm trying to get the best outcome for you. I really am. But I need more time. We need to get through all of this stuff. We need to go through the videos. We need to get through the videos that you have. We can't do it today.
Okay, but the time, okay, I understand what you need in order to feel confident
But
that
otherwise, they're just going to take it to trial and we're going to lose. And you're going to have all these convictions on your record.
Okay.
Without all that stuff, that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to say that to scare you. I'm just saying that's the reality. If we went into trial right now, we would lose 100%. We don't have all of the information yet.
Okay.
And that's what we need.
Okay.
And that's why we need a continuance. Unless you are adamant that you want to set it for trial next week, which again, you can do. It's all your decision whether you set it for trial or whether we ask for a continuance. I can just give you my advice and my analysis of the case, and then you make the decision. But as for now, I don't think we would have a very good shot if we went to trial right now.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be, months down the road. We can ask for 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
Okay.
just to give us time to go through all this stuff.
Okay.
Because we're going to need time.
Okay.
So does 2 weeks, 3 weeks, does that sound like something that you'd be able to manage?
Yes. If we got a continuance, so basically all we would do today is make requests for information, period.
Right.
And then get a date to return.
Right.
So, okay.
And so the prosecutor has already called, the evidence officer is coming to bring those discs to me.
Okay.
So we can set an appointment later this week to come in, and you can either email me all that stuff, or if you just want to bring it in when you come in to meet, then we can go through all of it at once. I can block out like 2-3 hours.
Okay.
It's just, at court, this isn't the place to do all that. This is the place where we talk to the prosecutor, see if there's a resolution. If not, we either continue it or set it for trial.
Okay. So, I agree. I understand your point exactly. I don't mean to be argumentative or disrespectful to you or your whatnot. And I'm okay with us getting some more time so you can gain some more background and understanding. I just want you to know that my, without understanding, I know it sounds like I go all over the place, but I need this to be pardoned so that I can get a job. My car is going to be,
Pardoning it's something that the governor can do. The governor of the state of Ohio can pardon people once they've been convicted.
Okay.
It's either it gets dismissed or you take it to trial and it gets found guilty or not guilty.
Okay.
So pardoning is just, it's this thing, that the governor can do for or the president when people get convicted, sometimes after they've spent time in jail, sometimes after they've been in prison 20 years. It's just, so pardoning isn't a thing, but I think you mean dismissed.
Yeah.
And so dismissed, it's just, it only happens if, if you plead to one thing, he'll dismiss some other charges. That's usually how it works, is, he'll agree to dismiss maybe the theft charge or the resisting arrest charge if you plead to the other one. That's how that kind of thing works at a pretrial. He doesn't pretty much ever dismiss a charge unless we can show him that it's not, there's no basis for the
It's a mistake of
charge.
fact and it was self-defense.
Not necessarily. I mean, it has to be concrete that it's not what you were thinking at the time. He's going to say, let's leave that up to a jury.
But mens rea is what you
I
were
understand
thinking
what you're
at
saying,
the time.
but what you were thinking at the time is only something that you know. So we can't say this is exactly what she was thinking at that time, because not everyone comes in and tells the truth about what they were thinking at the time.
But the evidence shows I was videotaping myself
Okay.
taking.
Those are all, again, but right now I don't have that. And so I don't have all of this stuff lined up where I could go to him and say, look, this is this, this is this, this is this, this is why this charge shouldn't be there. And even if we get out of that theft charge, we're still going to have the resisting arrest charge to deal with. We're still going to have the obstruction. Again, I don't think they have much of the obstruction if the obstruction is the charge that I'm thinking they charge. I think they charged it for you not giving them your fingerprints. And there's case law specifically on that says that's not obstruction because it's failure to act, not an affirmative act. So that charge in specific, I'm not super concerned about, but there's also the misuse of 911 and the resisting arrest that we're going to have to deal with. And so even if we 100% get this theft charge out of the way, we still have those other two.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I was calling 911 because I was hurt. They told me they were going to take me to a hospital and then they didn't.
heard about, well, they did end up taking you, didn't they?
No.
Did the fire department came, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
And
Again,
they talked me out of it.
Okay, it's already been a very long time that I've been here. I know I'm sorry. I wish that they set us aside more time, but they really just, it's here to talk to the prosecutors, see if there's a resolution, and then decide if we're taking it to trial and continue it. So, does 2 weeks work?
Sure.
Okay.
And, okay, go ahead.
What, do you have timing concerns? Do you want more time, less time?
No, I mean, it's, you know, based on, you know, having this dismissed, you know, but I guess, well, when would we meet? Because we obviously need to, I know you need to hear these recordings to understand.
Right, and I mean, I don't have court on Fridays, so usually Fridays are a good day.
Okay.
I don't know what my schedule is this Friday, so when I get back to the office, I can call you.
Okay.
Because the secretaries just schedule stuff without letting us know sometimes. So, and then we have our staff meetings in the afternoon. So usually my morning's wide open unless they've already scheduled me stuff.
Okay.
So once I get back, I'll call you. And if this Friday's busy, I'll check my schedule for next week. Usually afternoons, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are pretty open, but then Friday mornings are good.
Okay.
So, but I can work with, you know, if you have a busy schedule, I can always just
No,
figure
this
it
is
out.
this is my entire life.
Okay.
I can't work. I can't. I got a message last night that I'm gonna be evicted and he's taking over my property. I have no place to live.
Okay.
As a result of this. So this is my number one priority, like ASAP, and I've been, you know, trying to regain the peculiar, you know, sabotaged phone equipment as well.
Okay. So how about I'll give you a call when I get back to the office. We'll set it out for 2 weeks right now.
And then
then-
Friday.
Right.
Okay, we'll meet this Friday.
Yeah, I just need to make sure they didn't schedule me stuff already, but usually if they do, you know, it's not the whole morning, so I'll just figure out what time that I have open, and then I'll
Okay.
give you a call.
Can you give me the benefit of the doubt that this might be an extraordinarily different case from the norm?
I do not doubt that.
Okay.
It's
All
just,
right.
we
And
need
I
time.
don't mean to insult you, and I know that, of course. So a pretrial does not, I mean, the pretrials for my divorce, they were involving,
So that's
the
civil.
judge.
So civil cases are a bit different. That's the same with, you know, child support, stuff like that. You're always going to go in front of the judge. Even the juvenile court, that's how they run because it's not like a full criminal court. But yeah, that's how pretrials work
Mhm.
for this. And a lot of the felony stuff, that's how they do it. They talk to the judge. But for muni, I mean, they're setting 200 people in the morning. The judge only sees people that are pleading guilty.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So could I plead guilty self-defense?
Not a thing. if you want to plead guilty, go ahead. But then they're going to sentence you, and you're going to have those convictions on your record.
Right. Well, I just want to be heard, and they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't let me talk to an attorney. They were, telling me that I couldn't come. We need time. I know.
So.
Okay.
If you have another pen, you might want to use it because I'm sick.
Oh.
But if you want to take the risk, go ahead.
I have a pen. What does this say? It says, I move the court to continue
We're
the
set
hearing.
for today. We're asking to continue 2 weeks to review evidence.
Okay.
So then you would sign there, I signed there.
Okay.
And then there's just 2 separate case numbers because they charged the theft separate from the other stuff.
Okay.
So this is just the same thing for the other case number.
Okay. Can I have, I'm asking you permission, can I have copies of what is in your folder?
They don't have a copy machine for us here,
Can I
but
take
if you want to
pictures?
take a picture, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, here, do you want to take pictures right now before I
Yes.
take them into the courtroom?
Yes, and I fully, I mean, and that's why I was like trying to read things because I was like, I wouldn't be going into these, what I wasn't doing was like extremely weird. That, all right, now I gotta figure out how to, do you want to, I am an iPhone person too.
Yeah, I don't.
And do you have to talk to other people? Is it gonna take me a while to take these pictures?
I do, but it's fine.
Okay. So some of the recordings that I have that I'm gonna send you are long,
Okay.
and
That's fine.
okay. And I want to probably write down some notes of things that you're looking for. Like you said, it was important when I tried to give the stuff to the police officer, and he's like, "I'm good."
Right.
Okay. And then they denied the next day that I was even there. But I see that it's
they
in
put
there.
in the report that you were there.
I know. So I'm
but
surprised
they just
did
said
that.
You weren't going to give them.
That's crazy. Initially, when I came in, I was like, I had to take my personal things and I didn't think I needed to give it as evidence until I realized after talking to him that, can
Right.
take pictures of like all of those records.
The report?
Yeah.
Do you want me to I can give you like actual copies Friday, because
I don't want to wait
it's
till Friday.
48 pages.
I don't want to wait till
Well,
That's what,
okay. Let's see. We could
I
do
just gave you
the
some.
report pages.
I can, you know what I could do really quick is I could do a video and do screenshots so that it will be quick. That's how
Well, actually, all of that is just other stuff. So here's the report. Let me see what this is.
Do they have a place where I could do photocopies downstairs?
No. They used to have a copy machine here, but about a month ago it broke, and they said, we're not going to replace it. We're like, okay,
That's
thanks.
crazy.
And here's one from Chagrin.
You sound so sick. Oh.
It's been months that I've been sick, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you are you on antibiotics or is it a sinus thing? Or?
They gave me some antibiotics, but it didn't really do much.
So it's probably either virus, maybe allergies, or.
Here's this one.
Okay, so this is done. I don't want to mix it up.
I already just dropped them and put them all out of order.
But I
so
want
I'm
to
gonna
I want to get copies of everything.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm pulling out all the reports. These are just like their.
Yeah, I want everything.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. You're going to want to get rid of me. You're going to want this dismissed. I'm telling you. And I don't want to make you miserable. But,
That's just the charges. You already had copies of these, right? They gave you those.
no, I'd like to have a copy of what they've given you as well, based on all of the deception with court documents that's going on. So I didn't know that.
I mean, this is gonna stay in this file until Friday,
And-
so I can make you just a copy. It's gonna take a lot less time.
That would be an extremely long week for me. I have,
It's
this
in 2 days.
It's, well,
Right, where's that?
Okay, so wait, this I copied.
Here's the
Wait,
true
I know
and
we're
false
mixing
one.
everything up. I don't wanna mix everything up. This I copied too. So, this I already copied, but
Alright.
don't put it back in there. Cause
Well,
I'm gonna,
these are the ones you just gave me that you copied, so.
those are the ones I
Yeah.
copied? Okay, yeah, let's not mix up anything, cause I'm like, obviously you can see pretty anal and another reason why,
Here's the statements.
not popular. So does this mean I go home now?
Right, so I have to take these continuance forms into the courtroom and ask the judge for a continuance. And then the judge is going to either grant that continuance or deny it. The bailiff is gonna take it back to her.
Oh,
And then
so it's not necessarily,
they usually do, since this is our first pretrial. It's just sometimes people ask for 2, 3, 4 pretrials, and then they have an issue with it. So, because this is the first one, I'm not super concerned. Alright, I think maybe this is what's left. We'll have to reorganize all this later though.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's my fault, I dropped it. These are the done ones, right?
Those are the done ones.
Okay.
It's funny, remember we were talking about a CPO? So
Mhm.
I did call,
Yeah.
and they said that the process of a CPO, so I could file the CPO against my husband,
Right.
but I couldn't file the CPO against David because I
Those
don't.
done?
Those are done.
Okay.
Because I don't live in Lake County. I would have to go to the county that I live in to file the restraining order against David. But I could, which is,
There's different rules for married people.
yes. But the interesting fact was that what they do is when you file for a CPO, they give you a temporary restraining order right away.
Yes.
However, it is not valid until it is
Served.
right.
Yes.
However,
Well, because they can't know that they're violating something until they know that there's something to violate.
what happened to me?
About what?
I didn't know I was violating something. Though I went in to file a police report and they told me I was under arrest and there was a warrant.
That's a protection. That's a specific thing to a protection order. It's specifically in the statute.
Okay, but from
And that's a civil thing. That's not a criminal thing. So that's a whole completely different situation.
aren't they both criminal? Isn't theft and protection both
So
crime?
it's a civil protection order. The protection order itself is civil, but
Okay.
if you violate it, you can be charged with a criminal offense.
So how do you know that, like, based on probable cause, right? They can do. I you've given me a lot of valuable, headway to look up stuff and try to learn. Now, probable cause is based on facts that come from somebody who isn't, like, deliberately trying to steal your phone, sabotage your phone, or deny that you were there the night before, trying to. So these are things that I just want you to know. I'm, yeah. All right.
Okay. I don't know where that would go.
If I had a kitchen and running water, I'd make you my magic soup. But I don't.
Thanks.
It works though.
Alright, well if you want to gather all the stuff up and head back out there, and then as soon as they tell me that this is granted, you can head out.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
And where should I send, because they send me the court dates and then we mail it to you, but if you're going to be moving, why don't you just call and wait, or I can tell you Friday when they scheduled us for.
So, wait. So can we so when we're asking for a continuance, we could ask for any amount of time?
I mean, within reason, yeah.
Can you change the continuance date, or is
So
that
what?
going to another continuance? Like, can you call? Can
You
we?
mean if we got the 2 weeks and then we needed more time, I can file a motion to continue.
But then that looks like a second continuance.
Yeah, but if we have a good reason, they'll give it to us.
Okay.
Like, what are you anticipating?
Well, let's.
I mean, do you want me to ask for 3 weeks now, just to be safe? Or do you wanna wait and see how it goes, see if we need more time?
Let's.
I mean, worst case scenario, if we file a motion and they deny it, we come in for that pre-trial, and then we just ask for a continuance then. And then if they don't give it to us, we set it for a jury trial and they'll give us more time.
Okay, let's just keep it the 2 weeks.
Okay.
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 So I'll gather my stuff and meet you out in the.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
sounds good.
thanks.